But one of the things that has attributed to the condition of Honduras is its abject poverty. 70% of the people in Honduras live in poverty. Out of that 70%, almost 60% live in abject poverty. So if you're living in abject poverty, you do not have potable water, you don't have adequate housing, you don't have education, you don't have medicines, and you do not have health care. We have conditions in the country where kids are sitting out on rocks under a tree being educated all of the grades by one teacher. That is not necessarily what you would find in the city, of course, but in the rural areas. And in Honduras, it is a rural country. The majority of the people do live in the rural areas. However, more and more have been pouring into the cities because city life should be better. They find that when they get to the cities, they have no support, no family. There's nobody there to take care of the kids. So oftentimes the kids are left on their own because their parents have gone out to work. Many of these parents are single parents as well as that. About 30 years ago, I noticed that there were children on the street. They were sniffing glue, they were begging for money, they were children who were living on the street and in the street. And I always thought they were boys. And then I found out that a lot of those boys were actually little girls who were dressed up as boys. And why did they do that? They did that so that they could avoid being abused sexually by predators who were in the streets. So when I went to investigate, I found out that in Honduras 30 years ago, there was not one single home for girls. A girl who was rescued out of the street or out of abuse or out of being orphaned was taken to the women's penitentiary because that was the only option for them so that they could be cared for by the inmates. That was not a good solution. So 28 years ago, we opened Our Little Roses Home for Girls. We rented a house. We took in our first girl. And today, we have a tremendous track record of being able to take these girls, give them the best health care, the best education, the best clothing, and love, and a very deep spiritual sense of who they are and what they can become. So I feel very, very good that today we can say we have dozens of girls who have graduated from the university. We have all kinds of professionals, girls who came to us with nothing, girls who had absolutely no future whatsoever. We have had girls who came to us who have slept on the street because they had no place to go. Little girls, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, sleeping on a cardboard box in the street. So it is amazing to think that you could take a girl like that, bring her up, and have her actually graduate from the university. Isn't that amazing? We have so much here in the United States that we oftentimes do not realize how 2/3 of the world lives. That's 2/3 of the entire world lives like that. 93 million children did not go to school. 70% of those 93 million are girls. So we have to do something to be able to educate our girls, because our girls one day are going to be mothers, And they are going to be able to educate their children. If we want to make a change, I can't change anybody, but I can sure empower somebody. And if I empower a girl, she is going to empower generations to come, because she will be able to stop that cycle of abuse and poverty and lack of education. So we need to be in this together. We need to realize that we can do something. We can say, oh, aren't these beautiful girls? They look like they don't need anything. But if you saw them when they came, you would say, oh my gosh, why even bother? They were in such terrible condition. We've had girls who looked like they wouldn't even live a day. And now they're healthy, they're well educated, and they have a future. I think we as people who God has blessed richly have a responsibility to help others. We can't be blind to what is south of us. If we want to stop migration, what do? We educate, we give opportunities, because I do not believe anybody really wants to leave their country. They have to sacrifice a lot. They sacrifice their families, they sacrifice their culture, they sacrifice their language, they sacrifice everything they know and care about. So we, as people who really care, should be doing something that will affect a change. And that change can only be done by you and me. I could have been blind to it. I was, actually, for many years. I was blind to the fact that these children were there. But my eyes were opened, and I hope your eyes will be opened too, so that you will see that you can make a difference. Even one girl at a time. That's how you do it. We're going to make a difference one girl at a time. So, I have graduated teachers from the university. I have a cosmetic dentist who we raised up. She does beautiful implants. We have engineers. We have 2 electrical engineers, an industrial engineer, all kinds of professions that these girls have achieved through hard work and because people like you cared. Because we can't do this without you. This takes resources, financial resources. It also takes your love and your care. You're being able to reach out to a child